tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at the shark attack multi-part tutorial. So the other ones we've been looking at are pretty simple, couple of steps. This one starts to get a little bit more complex, so I'm going to model it for you again. If you go down the page, you'll see these two-part ones here, and there's some more ones that you might want to have a look at, some examples at the bottom as well. But if you go and press Shark Attack, you'll see it's the blocking tutorial, press Start, and this will walk you through step by step, but I'm going to go through it step by step as well, so that you have a very clear understanding as to what is expected. So let's make a game. First, we'll create a main character that shoots some projectiles. As you can see, this duck. Maybe that's a duck that shoots bubbles, or a monkey that throws bananas, or cat, that spits hairballs. It's up to you. So we're going to make this really simple. So from the scene, drag the set background color block into this on start block on your workspace. So go here, that. I'm going to set my background color to be this color, to be like the sea, under the sea. Anyway, then press next. From sprites, drag the set my sprite to thingy into on start. So if you click on that, it tells you what to do. So if I go to sprites, you can see that step. So if I go to sprites, sprites, and set my sprite to, that's the one. And I'll put that in here. Click on the grey box in set my sprite, which is this, and then select gallery in the image editor. So this is obviously showing you step by step how you might want to do it. So you can choose anything you like. You can choose to have the duck. Let's see what else is here. I'm going to have, and I did the monkey in the last game, so maybe I'll just do another. It doesn't really look like a monkey, to be honest. It's just monkey. Right. Then choose your hero. So that's the hero. Then from controller, drag move sprite button, which is this thing, after set my sprite to. You might not notice that I'm actually pressing on these, because it actually gives me exactly what I need to do in case these instructions aren't clear. This will allow you to move your sprite around the screen. So if I go here, controller, move my sprite with buttons and set it after that, you can see on here that, like it says, you can either use this or you can use the arrow keys on your keyboard like I'm doing now. Whee! Then you might notice he suddenly disappears and I don't know where he is. There he is. Anyway, so now let's have our hero shoot some projectiles. Then find the A on button A button in controller and drag it onto the space. So that means that anything that we put under here will happen when we press the button A. So currently nothing happens. So if we drag it onto the workspace, then we have to drag the projectile from sprites. So this thing. Move it here so I can see more of it, I guess. Then my projectile is going to be, your VY value is going to be 0. And then when you click here, you can choose whatever you want to shoot. And I saw some stuff I wanted to shoot before, which was this very complex looking burger. So now, if you see oh jeez, maybe that's a bit too big. I might get a smaller one. Maybe I'll shoot some pizza. It's a very big pizza. So I'm now shooting pizza. Woo! Lots of pizza. So now that we've done that, you're going to start customizing the game. So it gives you 2 steps. I'm going to go with designing the background just for now, right? And I'm sure that will take you step by step through that. There you go. So what we're going to do is from the scene, which is this one, we're going to set a background image and we're going to put it into on start. And then we're going to draw a background for the game. So I'm going to cheat and get an existing background for the game. Actually, I might get... yeah, I'll do that one. And then now you can add some sprites to decorate the game. So there's other things that are in it. So I'm going to go to loops. I'm going to get this from index from and set it to 10 because that's what the preview showed me and what the instructions are telling me. And what you can see here is this has created its own little section. This is what we call a loop, which means whatever is happening in there will happen when this variable is met. It means that we don't have to keep writing it again and again. From the sprite, if you drag out my sprites again, the set sprites to, at the moment it says set index to, and then you put it in here and just change that to my sprite. All right. Then click on the grey box and select a background image. I see. We're forgetting a step. So it says from my sprites, drag my sprites to, but it doesn't put this thing. So we're going to have to go to sprites. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong one. That's why. Anyway, so that's the right one. Set my sprites to. And you can see that's, and then you can change that to seaweed. Let's see if we can see some seaweed in the gallery rather than try and make some. There we go. Some seaweed. There we go. And then let's check it's similar. And we want to make that food. We don't want to make it projectile, character. So it's food. So then from sprites drag set my sprite position, which is the one we were looking at before, which is this thing. And we want to change the Y value to 96. And you can see that puts it down there. It tells you where it's going to put it. There we go. So you can see already on the preview when it loads. That, let's move that there. Then from math, we need to drag the 0 times 0 block in as the X value. So what it's saying to do is get this block 0 times 0, and you need to drag it so it's lining up. See where it's turned yellow and it's matching? So it sits in there. Then we're going to change the first number to 16 and drag the index blocks from variable and have it match with the second number. Okay? So that needs to look like that. So we can keep adding decorations. So we can do all sorts of things. We can, I don't know. What's a good decoration? Let's do this and make that, I don't know, pizza. What goes with pizza? Not lemons. Dodgy looking, but no, tacos. Let's do the tacos one. Tacos. And we don't want to make it a player. We don't want to make it a food. Make it a food. Alright. So, we're decorating. I'm not really going to decorate much more. I might add in another set this sprite position. What you can also do is duplicate, so you don't have to go into the menu all the time. So that's what I'm going to do, so I don't have to do all those steps again. That's what it is done. Make sure that's matched with that, otherwise it's going to move your character. Woo! Okay, I don't think we need that much food, so let's get rid of that. And you can see at the bottom, the seaweed's now across the bottom. So you can do all sorts of things. You can duplicate that entire thing. Make like 3. Make that perhaps the taller seaweed. I might make it the taller. I think that's taller seaweed. Anyway, if it's not, doesn't matter. duplicate that so I don't have to do all that again. Make that 3. You can see it's added that. So I might change that to something else. Depends what you want to do. Make some coral. Coral's nice. So you can see I've got some coral now in the background and things like that. Anyway, once you're done decorating, now you can create your enemies. So to create the enemies, it's obviously the objects you're fighting in the game. Open that up, and this will let you create your enemies and spawn them at random locations. So, add an on-game update every block to the workspace. So this one. So if you go to game, get that. Inside the on-game update every event, place a set my sprite to sprite block. That's this thing. So if you go to sprite and set my sprite to sprite block, rename the variable enemy sprite. So to do that, you go to rename enemy sprite and change the player to enemy. Then you get to choose who your enemy is. So the enemy of the monkey is going to be... Well, I mean, it's on the water, so we might as well make it the shark. So it's going to be the shark. And then, so you can see there's the shark. So we're going to set a position 2 block right below this. So that's this. And let's do that. Set position 2. And we're going to change the variable, which is this, the thing that changes, to enemy sprite. Otherwise, it's going to be referring to the other one. Then for the X value in the set position block, so here, we're going to get a pick random number. And that's under the math thing. Remember, you've got to make sure they line up like this, and you can see they're linked. They'll click into place. And we're going to set the second number to 160, which is apparently the width of this screen. I think that's the one I'm supposed to change. Let me check. Yes, that's the one I'm supposed to change. So you can double check, and you can see there's heaps of them at the top now. We're going to get a pick another random number, and we're going to put that in the Y value variable. So X and Y, I'm not sure if you've done it in maths yet. You probably should have done it in year 6. The X value is this way, Y value is this way. So it's choosing a point, as you can see. Let me take that off for a moment. When I do that, you see the X and Y value has changed. So as I go further down, the Y value is changing. As I go across, X value is changing. So there you go. When you click this in, you're going to set the Y value. So put it in there, make sure they link. And we're going to change the second number to 120, the height of the screen. Sorry, I got them the other way around. Y value, X value. And you can see that now it's coming up in random spots because they're choosing a random number here and a random number here. Now, it's also coming up way too many times, so I hope that changes. So we're going to drag an on overlay, this thing, and change the second sprite to enemy. So first we're going to get this out from sprite, which is a massive little endeavor here. And we're going to change the second sprite kind to enemy. So that's this one. So one's a player and the other is an enemy. And this is going to say whenever this monkey meets or overlaps on the screen with the shark, we want something to happen. So when it overlays, we want it to destroy the monkey. We don't really want to destroy the monkey, but that happens. So we're going to go here. We're going to get destroy my sprite and put it here. And that matches with what they say here. So as you can see, we'll let it hit. Oh, he hit, he destroyed, gone. So now we want to be able to have a couple of effects. We're going to start with the projectiles. I know this is a bit of a longer tutorial, but this should, you have got a time to have a look at this. So now we're going to make some enemies and projectiles. We've already got that. We want to have the projectiles to actually do something. So when we go to on sprite, we're going to go to sprites again, and you can drag around your workspace and do all sorts of stuff. We need to drag out the on sprite overlaps over sprite, which is this thing again. So we're going to drag it more out here, so I've got a bit of space. And we're going to click the first drop down and select projectile, so this one. So that's when it says whenever the projectile overlaps with, and we want it to overlap with the enemy, like with the other one, except it's when the projectile, whatever you're shooting, hits the enemy, something's going to happen. And we want the sprite to be destroyed again, but we don't want our sprite to be destroyed. We want the enemy sprite to be destroyed. So obviously when you are shooting, as you can see, we're now shooting the thingo, and nothing's really happening at the moment for some reason. And we'll, I'm sure, find out why. Oh. It's saying... So what it didn't say to do, which is a bit annoying, is you've actually got to rename this, or change this to other sprite. I'm not sure what it's doing there. We'll get back to that. Make sure you've got that. So it matches that, actually, that makes sense. Alright, then in the info over here, we're going to change the score by 1 and put it under there. So our scores will change by 1 each time that you hit. So here, as you can see, the score in the corner is starting to change every time I hit a shark. So something's actually happening, but I lost already. So from the sprite button, we want to drag out the start effect and put this in here. I want to drag the sprite variable into the start effect. So we want to change this to bubbles. A little bit so yes, and make sure you got the sprite like that. And then go next. Now we're going to create some moving enemies. And I mean, they're already there, but they're not moving. So we're going to go to on created. We're going to change this to enemy. We're going to place a set velocity, which is the speed. And then we're going to, in here, so we've done that, that's fine. I'm going to change it to sprite. I'm going to change it to 50-50, that's fine. Change the values to -50 and 0. And then going to set stay in screen so that they don't go off the screen. As you can see, we're going to change it to sprite. And then we're going to, in here, change it to auto destroy. And then that will cause the enemy to be destroyed when they travel outside the screen. So they won't affect the character. And now we have done, let's add multiple enemies. So we've got not just shark, we want to add a fish. I think we should add fish. Now we're going to use the % chance. So we're going to, on created, we're going to drag out this thing from sprites. I'm going to drop that to enemy, and on created, use that one instead. So we've done that. Oh, we've already got one for enemy, actually, as it says there. If you've already got one for enemy, use that. So we've got one for enemy. It's here. So I'm not going to create another one. So on created, we're going to put some logic. So this is another type of loop. Sorry, that's the wrong one. We want the else statement as well. So if something's true, this or this. So percentage chance, we're going to put this for maths and change it to 50, as it says here. We're going to set image block into the first clause, so we're going to get set image. We're going to go set image. Let me just be sure that it says, yeah, we're going to set sprite to, where's the fish? A fish. Had the shark. There's a little fish. Am I going nuts? I've gone past it. There it is, fish. And we've done that. You can see some fish start to appear. Then in the second image, we want to create something else. So I set it to shark. So I'm going to go sprite and in the else. And I think, yes, we set that to a sprite as well. And we're going to change that to this duck. It's going to be duck in the water. Then we can add some lives. So you can see this game is starting to get a bit complex, and we've already done some loops and things like that, which is funny and fun. So we're going to give it lives, and obviously as many times as it gets hit, we'll change it. So we're going to info, we'll set life, and make sure you put it, let me drag it here, under this on start thing, which is the first one. So set life to 3 if you want, and then on here, which we've already got over here, remember we've already got that, we're going to go to that, and then when it destroys the sprite, as it says, we've already done that, and then you're going to change the life by 1. So you're going to put that underneath, and then place a camera shake, so then they know, which is going to happen over here. That lets you know that obviously you've been hit. We've already done that, so let's design our enemy, design our background, design our enemy. And we've already sort of designed the background, so I mean, we can edit a little bit. We've already set the background image, so let's see if there's anything in here we want to add. Nah, not really. So essentially you've now got a, okay, I don't know why it's asking me to create enemies again, but you know, we've done all of that. Oops. And it's actually finished. So now what we can do is in here, you can share it with me, and you can see that this guy is actually playing a game. I don't know how you, oh, A. Is that A? So, ooh, I died. Let's reset. And obviously there's more that you can add to this game, such as, oh, I got 1 point, I hit something. What I could do is I could have it come up with game over, which, I mean, I think you've seen before. Game over. And I could even set B to be the button that shoots the other way. You know, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, very good. So if you click here to publish it, it will allow you to share it and copy that and put it on Google Classroom. Good job. Bye-bye.